If you've been scrolling through your phone lately and seen alarming posts about green card rules changing overnight, or if someone sent you a panicked message saying everything is different now and you need to act immediately, I want you to take a deep breath. I know how it feels when you see those headlines. Your heart starts racing. You wonder if your application is still valid. You worry about your family's future. You ask yourself if everything you've been working toward is suddenly at risk. I understand that fear, because millions of immigrants feel it every single day. But here's what I need you to know right now. In this video, we're going to separate fact from fiction. We're going to look at what has actually changed in green card policy, what is being misunderstood or exaggerated online, and most importantly, what has not changed at all. You deserve to know the truth, based on verified facts and official sources, not rumors or clickbait. So stay with me for the next 13 minutes, because by the end of this video, you'll have clarity, confidence, and a clear understanding of where you actually stand. Let's start with the most important truth about United States immigration law. Changes to green card rules do not happen overnight. They cannot. The United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, which we call USCIS, operates under federal law. That means any significant change to green card eligibility, processing procedures, or application requirements must go through a formal legal process. This process includes public notice, review periods, potential court challenges, and official implementation timelines. When you see a headline that says, "New green card rules are in effect immediately," you need to ask yourself a few critical questions. Is this referring to an actual published rule from USCIS or the Department of Homeland Security? Is it talking about a proposal that hasn't been finalized yet? Is it discussing a court decision that affects only certain cases? Or is it simply someone's opinion about what might happen in the future? These distinctions matter enormously because they determine whether the information affects you right now or not at all. Now let's talk about what people are actually referring to when they mention new green card rules. In recent months, there have been several policy discussions, proposed changes, and administrative updates related to green card processing. Some of these are real, some are exaggerated, and some are completely misunderstood. One area that has seen genuine updates involves processing times and case backlogs. USCIS has published new guidance on how they prioritize certain green card categories, especially employment-based and family-based petitions. This does not mean the fundamental eligibility requirements have changed. It means the agency is trying to manage an enormous backlog of cases more efficiently. If you have a pending application, this could affect how long you wait, but it does not invalidate your application or change whether you qualify. Another area of confusion involves green card renewals and the 10-year validity period. Some people have been spreading rumors that green cards will now expire sooner or that renewal requirements have become stricter. This is not accurate. A lawful permanent resident card, commonly called a green card, is still valid for 10 years from the date of issuance. The renewal process through Form I-90 has not fundamentally changed. What has changed in some cases is processing time. USCIS has been working to reduce delays, and in many cases, renewals are actually being processed faster than they were 2 years ago. However, it's still your responsibility to file for renewal at least 6 months before your card expires. If you let your card expire and you're outside the United States, you may face serious complications when trying to return. That rule has always existed. It is not new. There's also been significant discussion about public charge rules and how they affect green card applicants. The public charge rule determines whether someone is likely to become primarily dependent on government assistance, and it can affect admissibility for certain immigration benefits. Over the past few years, this rule has been challenged, changed, reversed, and clarified multiple times. As of now, USCIS follows the public charge rule that was finalized in 2022. This version is generally less strict than a previous version that was in effect briefly in 2019 and 2020. The current rule focuses primarily on cash assistance programs and long-term institutionalized care, not on benefits like Medicaid for children, emergency medical assistance, or nutrition programs like WIC. However, many immigrants are still afraid to use any public benefits at all because they remember the fear and confusion from a few years ago. If you are in this situation, the best thing you can do is consult with a licensed immigration attorney who can review your specific circumstances and explain what actually applies to your case. Let me address another common source of panic. People often confuse proposed legislation with actual law. Just because a member of Congress introduces a bill does not mean it becomes law. In the United States, a bill must pass both the House of Representatives and the Senate, then be signed by the President before it has any legal effect. Even then, it may take months or years for federal agencies to write and implement regulations based on that law. So when you see news about a proposed bill that would change green card numbers, eliminate country caps, or create new categories of eligibility, understand that this is a proposal. It is not yet enforceable. It may never become enforceable. You should stay informed about these discussions because they could eventually affect you, but do not panic as if they are already in effect. Now I want to talk about something that causes enormous confusion, and that is executive actions. Presidents can issue executive orders and directives that affect immigration policy, but their power is not unlimited. Executive actions can change how agencies enforce existing laws, set priorities for deportation or visa processing, or pause certain programs temporarily. However, they cannot rewrite the Immigration and Nationality Act. They cannot eliminate green card categories that are established by Congress, and they are often challenged in court, which can delay or block their implementation. If you hear that an executive order has changed green card rules, you need to find out exactly what that order says, whether it has been blocked by a court, and whether it applies to people who already have lawful status or only to new applicants. Do not assume the worst without verified details. Let's also address something that creates a lot of unnecessary fear, and that is the difference between green card holders and visa holders. If you are already a lawful permanent resident, your status is much more secure than if you are on a temporary visa. Permanent residents have the right to live and work in the United States indefinitely, as long as they do not abandon their residency or commit certain serious crimes. Policy changes that affect new green card applicants generally do not affect people who already have their green cards. Yes, you still need to maintain your residency. Yes, you need to renew your card every 10 years. Yes, you need to be careful about extended travel outside the United States. But the fact that you already have permanent residency means you have crossed the most difficult hurdle. Do not let online rumors convince you that your existing green card is suddenly invalid because of a new policy. That is not how it works. For those of you who are still waiting for your green card, whether through family sponsorship, employment sponsorship, or another pathway, I know the wait is incredibly stressful. You may have been waiting for years. You may have aged out of a category. You may be watching the visa bulletin every month, hoping your priority date becomes current. I want you to understand that while processing times and visa availability do fluctuate, the core requirements for green card eligibility have remained relatively stable. What does change frequently is the speed at which cases are processed and the number of visas available each year for certain countries due to per-country caps. These are real challenges, but they are not the same as sudden rule changes that disqualify you. If your petition was approved and you are waiting for your priority date to become current, that approval does not expire in most cases. You are still in line. You still have a path forward. One of the biggest mistakes I see immigrants make is relying on social media or unofficial websites for immigration advice. I cannot stress this enough. Immigration law is complex. It is constantly being interpreted by courts. It varies depending on your specific situation, your country of origin, your visa category, and your history in the United States. What is true for one person may not be true for you. A post you see on social media might be someone's personal experience, a misunderstanding of the law, or even deliberate misinformation. The only sources you should fully trust are official United States government websites like uscis.gov, the State Department's travel.state.gov, and guidance from licensed immigration attorneys who are authorized to practice in the United States. If you see something alarming online, go directly to the official source and verify it before you make any decisions. I also want to remind you that immigration attorneys exist to help you navigate these exact situations. If you are unsure whether a new policy applies to you, if you don't understand a notice you received from USCIS, if you're worried about your eligibility, or if you simply need peace of mind, consulting with a qualified attorney is not a luxury. It is an investment in your future. Many attorneys offer initial consultations for free or at a low cost. Some nonprofit organizations provide legal assistance to low-income immigrants. Do not let fear of cost prevent you from getting accurate advice. Making a decision based on misinformation could cost you far more in the long run, including your ability to stay in the United States. Let me also address something that often gets lost in these conversations, and that is the emotional toll of uncertainty. Immigration is not just a legal process. It is deeply personal. It affects your ability to build a life, support your family, pursue your dreams, and feel safe. When you hear frightening news about rule changes, it's not just your legal status that feels threatened. It's your sense of stability and belonging. I want you to know that it is okay to feel anxious. It is okay to be frustrated by how slow and confusing the system can be. But I also want you to hold on to hope. Millions of people successfully obtain green cards every year. Millions more maintain their permanent residency and go on to become United States citizens. You are not alone in this journey, and there are people and resources available to help you. As we wrap up, let me summarize what you need to remember. First, U.S. immigration law does not change overnight. Real policy changes go through formal processes that include public notice and implementation periods. Second, distinguish between rumors, proposals, and actual enforceable law. Just because you see something online does not make it true. Third, if you already have a green card, your status is generally secure as long as you maintain your residency and follow the rules. Fourth, if you are waiting for a green card, stay informed about processing times and visa availability, but do not panic over every headline. Fifth, always verify information through official government sources or licensed immigration attorneys. And finally, remember that you have rights, you have options, and you have a community of people who understand what you're going through. If this video helped bring you clarity and peace of mind, I encourage you to subscribe to USA Immigration Today. We are committed to providing you with accurate, responsible, and up-to-date information about U.S. immigration policy without the fear-mongering and clickbait you see everywhere else. Turn on notifications so you never miss an important update. Like this video if you found it helpful, and please share it with anyone in your family or community who might be feeling confused or anxious about their immigration status right now. And if you have questions or topics you'd like us to cover in future videos, leave a comment below. We read every single one, and your input helps us create content that truly serves your needs. Thank you for trusting us with something so important to you and your family. Stay informed, stay hopeful, and remember that knowledge is power.